Falling in love with insurance.
Yeah.
ये कैसे हुआ?
Health insurance is something that मैं तो कहता हूँ अगर कॉलेज में पॉकेट मनी से भी ले सकते हो तो भी ले लो. Term is never sold, na? It's bought.
There is this like weird association that all the insurance companies are evil and they are waiting to deny your claim.
Gen Zs are looking at trust even beyond relationships, which means तुमको knowledge है, तो मैं तुम्हारा landing page भर के आ जाऊँगा.
Take away from this is source is key.
Very early on in my life, I started doing SIPs.
See guys, listen to this. This is ideal. Please, if you're 23, 24, start. The day is finally here that we're going to talk about insurance. No, listen, promise, it's going to be interesting. Please don't skip this video and move on to something interesting. Because I promise you, I have found the perfect person to decode insurance for you. Trust me, if you have trouble finding insurance for the first time, if you think all these agents are fleecing you, or if you think you're having some claims inquiries, trust me, he's done it all. We have none other than Abhishek Singh with us today. He is the Director and Chief Distribution Officer at OneInsure. And he is fantastic at creating content, which he started doing recently, but I'm a big fan. Abhishek, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this for us.
Sure.
So, I think it's about 20 years of insurance industry experience.
So December 15th, I finished 20 years.
Oh, wow. 20 साल अब insurance में bore नहीं हुए कभी?
So, till 2013, I was working with various insurance companies. And by then I realized that अपने लिए काम करना better होगा.
Nice.
So got into insurance broking. And since then, so time निकला. When did it just pass by? समझ ही नहीं आया. Yeah, right.
Nice. And if I'm not wrong, you have done your MBA at first, right?
Yes. So I've done MBA from ICFI Business School, 2004 batch, and then got placed into insurance. Did not really know what will happen.
Yeah.
But after 6 months, I fell in love.
Falling in love with insurance?
Yeah.
ये कैसे हुआ?
So we were a batch of about 10 people who got into insurance at the same time in one same company. And probably hardly 2 or 3 of them are still into insurance. The rest have moved on. But yeah, I typically loved engaging, talking to people, pitching my products, explaining them. And it was very tough.
Yeah.
शुरू में तो एकदम ऐसा लगता था पता नहीं कितना टाइम लगेगा बेचने में. But gradually became really good at it. Got into team management at an early age. By 2005, I was into team management. So things were good. That's how I fell in love with insurance. And still my first love is insurance.
अरे बीवी को नहीं दिखाना है.
वो उसको मालूम.
She already knows.
She was also into insurance.
Oh, really?
Till 2019.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. You spoke about how you were with various insurance companies and then went off on your own in terms of broking. Nowadays, career switching is very common.
Yeah.
Matlab, before you learn the names of everybody on the team, you're probably on to the next.
Sure.
What do you think? Is it better to do a long-term stint at a company, or this career switching is like the way to go?
If you want to really make wealth for yourself, when I'm saying real wealth, it's better to stick to a company and grow there. The ESOP game begins and then you make a hell lot of money out of it.
Get in early.
If you're just looking at a compensation perspective, then probably jumping around here and there. In, let's say, see, when I look at a CV, we look at continuity.
Okay.
Even if I'm taking a person who's not done this job earlier, and it's like probably a fresh career move for him, I still look at continuity.
Okay.
So continuity for per se insurance is extremely important. Because वो तुमने सीखा नहीं, फिर तुम जो कहीं और कूद गए, फिर कहीं और कूद गए, तो पहले सीखो तो.
Correct.
It takes time.
It takes time.
Yeah.
And it's important to also build, I think, a little bit of trust. Because
Absolutely.
Insurance requires a lot of trust. Without it, to
So my number that is there, it has been there for the past 20 years. And you see a lot of salespeople changing their number again and again. But I am constantly with this number.
So if you're
any customer or anyone that I've sold 15 years back also can be in touch with me.
Very interesting. So, obviously you've made a switch and you've reached where you are. And I'm an absolute fan of your content that you're creating. For somebody who's been in the insurance game for so long, there is a old school sort of thinking, right? How did this switch happen?
The content switch?
Yeah, the content switch.
So, I always thought that unless we build a brand for OneInsure, and we take this name to households, it's not going to work because insurance per se ना वो मेहनत वाला काम है. आप दिन हर दिन आप गड्ढा खोदते हो, पानी भरते हो, पानी निकालते हो. Unless there are people looking out for you, you can't keep going out and looking out for people.
सामने से आनी चाहिए.
लीड सामने से जब तक नहीं आएगी तब तक आप कितना भी मेहनत कर लो, it will be always a tough task for you and your team. That kept on going for about 13 years in our business. Still is. So we said that let's build a proper social media brand. And I guess for building a brand, instead of having a so-called influencer outside of the organization, why don't you or
Do
us,
it in-house.
we kind of build a face inside.
Of course.
And I was good at theatricals. तो मैं
Most important, no? Dramatics.
तो एक्टिंग वैक्टिंग का शौक था.
अरे,
तो मैंने
अरे.
बोला चलो I will become the face. So that's how it is. So our entire thought is that in the next 3 years, you will see us as one of the topmost social media brands or brands per se on insurance distribution space.
Yeah.
As of now, this is just Policy Bazaar. No one has really succeeded.
Correct.
They did a lot of mass media.
They did.
Yeah. So spent a lot of money, but they've built a decent brand.
Yeah.
We will do the same in the next 3 years. There are a lot of plans around it, so that's how it is.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Being very
Yeah.
intrigued about these plans that you're not unveiling right now, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Why did you turn to podcasting?
So podcasting per se was an afterthought. We were building decent follower base. My company and me put together, we are around 1.75 lakhs right now. So we said that हम इनको insurance के लिए लेके आ रहे हैं. But these are all young people, right?
Yeah.
And they would want to see, let's say, people who've made some kind of difference in the world. So if you see podcast pe, I'm not getting anyone who's from insurance per se, or let's say you were the first ones from the influencer
Finance
field.
industry,
Yes. Otherwise, they're all general people
Yeah.
who've created some, like I had this gentleman who walked the country, right? He walked from Kanyakumari till Kashmir.
Yes.
And the only motive behind was कि mental health को उसको NCERT के curriculum में डलवाना था.
Oh wow.
Because he had a condition and he felt that बस अगर मेरे साथ हो सकता है तो कितने
किसी के
बच्चों के साथ होता होगा. अगर हम इसके बारे में पढ़ाने लगेंगे, then people would generally know that बस something is up with me, right?
Yeah.
So I call such people who would kind of be some kind of a motivation or an eye opener for the people around us.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into podcasting.
That's amazing. So we also got into podcasting because we realized that finance, like we call it personal finance, is actually that. It is personal for everyone. Right? It's different for everyone. No two people can have the same identical portfolio because सबका situation अलग है.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to learn finance just from books. It is literally, it's an art more than it's a science.
True.
So we realized ki why not talk to people from different fields and understand what different people do about it.
Sure.
The more you hear about experiences in terms of finance, the better or the clearer you will be. And maybe you can take a better decision about your own money.
True.
And I'm personally loving it. I'm meeting so many interesting people and people are doing so much. It baffles me sometimes.
Sure.
It's fun, no?
Yeah.
But with that, let me turn to insurance.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go straight up to the most common question that you get asked. I am a young person. क्या मुझे insurance की ज़रूरत है? Like a 25-year-old who's just started their first job.
Term insurance की ज़रूरत नहीं है.
Okay.
Unless you have dependents. It's a very clear thing. I keep telling people, बस liability नहीं है, dependence नहीं है तुम्हारे ऊपर, तुमको you don't need term insurance. You don't waste your money. Just because the world is buying, you should not buy.
Yeah.
But dependent ना होना, larger case in the country, middle class people, बड़ा मुश्किल है. When I passed out, my parents had a dependency on me.
Yeah.
ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि मैं उनका घर चलाता था,
हाँ, but
but
there is
there
a
was this, you need to,
responsibility.
yeah, some payback is required, right?
Correct.
So I took a term insurance policy. If your parents are well-to-do, if you do not have any education loans, any liabilities, no car loans upcoming,
Correct.
nothing, then term insurance लेने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं. Health insurance is something that मैं तो कहता हूँ अगर कॉलेज में पॉकेट मनी से भी ले सकते हो तो भी ले लो. Because you don't know when what is going to happen. And second is that if you are, let's say, dependent on someone, तो आप उसकी savings wipe off करोगे, और अगर नहीं हो dependent तो खुद की savings wipe off करोगे. So this, I don't think so there's any age to buy health insurance. You should buy as soon as the bulb lights up.
Yeah.
बहुत important fact ये भी है for every youngster to understand. आप खुद के बारे में सोचने से पहले पेरेंट्स का सोचो. Because if you are 24, 25, your parents are just going to enter that age, which is like 55, 60,
Yep.
where shit starts happening,
Yeah.
right? पहले ये देखो कि पॉलिसी है पेरेंट्स के पास, और अगर है तो कौन सी है, कैसी है,
और कितनी स्ट्रांग है.
Is it a strong policy or not? Because finally all said and done, चलो अगर वो वेल टू डू हैं तो वो खुद से पैसे मैनेज करेंगे, नहीं है तो all that money you are going to get the hit of it.
That's true.
So that's, I think, extremely crucial. So as I said, term insurance only required when you have dependents or liabilities. Health insurance, the day you wake up, go ahead and buy.
What about this sort of, there is a school of thought where I don't know whether it's a school of thought or just people who've done some Google research, but कहते हैं कि आप अगर young हो तो you get your term insurance policy early because you'll get it cheap.
So yeah, of course, you get it cheap, but there's a clear income correlation. So when you're 23 and let's say your compensation is about 10 lakhs per annum, so of course you're young and you will get it cheap. But point is, कितना मिलेगा? 30 times is the maximum cover that you can get at that age. But कितना मिलेगा? 10 into 30 मिलेगा ना?
Exactly.
3 crore ही मिल सकता है.
Correct.
At max.
Yeah.
And second point is, do you really need that 3 crores at that point in time? Just because it's coming cheap to me, does not mean that I'm going to waste my money on it.
Yeah.
As you age, your compensations will go. So let's say a guy who's 23 making about 8 lakhs, 7 lakhs to 8 lakhs, by the time he's 30, he'll be at 30, 35, 40 lakhs.
Correct.
At that point in time, and 30 तक टर्म का प्राइसिंग में बहुत इम्पैक्ट नहीं आता है.
Okay.
There are two milestones, 30 and 40. 40 के बाद it becomes obnoxiously expensive. 30 is okay. Till 30 if you're buying, it's okay. And then 30 to 40 also there's a similar price range.
Okay.
Beyond 40 it's expensive.
That's when they think that shit's going to hit the fan with you also.
Yeah. So till 30 your compensation and your, see, by 30 you'll also probably get into a marriage. बच्चा तो शायद नहीं होगा, बट शादी हो चुकी होगी. You'll build up some bit of liabilities around you, car loan, war loan. So I think that is the time when people really get serious. बट हाँ, अगर ये सोच है कि मुझे सस्ता मिलेगा और मैं खरीद के रखूं आगे के लिए, not a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
If you want to pick up, you can definitely
You can.
pick up. Yeah.
But वो amount that you'll be covered for will be limited.
It's limited to your compensation. Ballpark, if you ask me, 1 crore का cover for a 23, 24-year-old will be about 6,700 to 7,000 bucks.
Okay.
For a 30-year-old, it'll be ballpark about 9,500, 11,000 rupees. तो उतना तो थोड़ा टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी का भी डिफरेंस है.
Difference है.
So it's, yeah, that's how it is.
Interesting. And what about this thing that we've come across nowadays, where there is a insurance policy, the term insurance policy, where you get your money back at the end of the
term with return of premium.
Yes, term return of premium.
Utter foolishness
है ना?
As per me, because आपको आपका ही पैसा दे रहे हैं वापस.
Yeah. And it's not like it's at the same premium, right?
No,
it's an escalated
it's a much higher premium.
Yeah.
The difference of that premium invested into a mutual fund at a 12% return will fetch you a much higher return compared to what you've done. But there's a school of thought saying that कुछ तो वापस मिले.
Yeah.
तो
but mathematically calculate भी अगर आप करो तो वो
कौन
अगर
करता है?
नहीं, that's Excel.
एडवाइजर के लिए क्या फायदा है? अगर 9,000 की जगह 14,000 आए तो मुझे 14,000 पे कमीशन मिलेगी.
करेक्ट.
सो अगर आपने बोला मुझे रिटर्न ऑफ प्रीमियम चाहिए, तो एडवाइजर भी बोलता है ठीक है सर, रिटर्न ऑफ प्रीमियम.
ओके.
टर्म इज नेवर सोल्ड, इट्स बॉट. बिकॉज मुझे क्या खरीदना है, कितना खरीदना है, ये क्लाइंट का दिमाग होता है.
So
एडवाइजर को तो पता ही नहीं है कि टर्म बेचना कैसे है. वो तो फुलफिलमेंट करता है केवल. सो मैं सी एवरी अदर थिंग इन द insurance industry is sold. Term is always bought. I have this feeling that I want to buy a term insurance.
So मैं जाऊंगा and I will seek it out.
And because Surendra in my office has 1 crore rupees of term, hence I also believe that I should have a 1
1
crore.
crore.
Logically, कैसे term insurance का calculation करना है?
Nobody.
Not even 1% of the customers go that way.
No.
It's just a वो होती है ना, एक अंदर से हंच होता है ना, इतने का तो ठीक रहेगा.
Yeah.
वो जाके एडवाइजर, अच्छा, for the advisor to get into a mathematical calculation, उसका क्या होने वाला है? उसका थोड़ा मोड़ा प्रीमियम आगे पीछे हो जाएगा. एडवाइजर भी बोलता है चलो सर ने दिमाग बना लिया है ना, इनको दे दो जो चाहिए.
अपना कमीशन आ रहा है, doesn't matter.
Correct.
What is the right way to calculate it? How much do you exactly need?
It's extremely simple. जो so called insurance scientists हैं, वो बोलते हैं human life value. It's all bullshit. According to me, because my human life value, let's say as we speak, because of my earning, let's say ballpark is about 25 crores. अब मैंने बच्चे पैदा नहीं किए, example, और मैंने शादी नहीं करी, और मैंने कोई लोन नहीं लिया, तो मैं क्यों लूंगा ये टर्म इंश्योरेंस कवर? तो फिर ह्यूमन लाइफ वैल्यू बीच में ही नहीं आती. अकॉर्डिंग टू मी, देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज, एंड दैट्स माय ओन कॉन्सेप्ट, इज द बेयर मिनिमम इंश्योरेंस कवर फॉर योर, यू नो, फॉर योर स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग. और आपको शादी नहीं करनी थी, लोन नहीं लेना था, बच्चे नहीं पैदा करने थे, वो वाला कवर. So the first thing that you see is entire loan that you have. It could be short term, long term, whatever it is. It has to be covered. So that's A. B is kids' outstanding education cost.
Okay.
A lot of people really don't understand this, that in a nuclear family, where let's say me and my wife are kind of fending for their entire education, and it's like bomb expensive now. My kids go to international schools. छोटे बच्चे हैं, 10 लाख रुपए लगता है. मैंने बोला इतने में तो अपना पूरा पढ़ाई हो गया था.
I know.
So for both the kids, I'm paying about 10 lakhs. My mathematics is that I would end up spending about 3.5 crores on each of them.
On each of them.
My son wants to become a K-pop artist. I wish he does, because फिर मेरे को 3 crore नहीं लगेगा. But this 3.5 crores, let's say if today I was to go out and I was not to be there anymore, तो ये 7 crore रुपए किसी ना किसी को फेंड करना पड़ेगा. तो ये 7 crore is another amount that is my deliverable to my family.
Eventually.
So
yes.
this is B. So A is your loans, B is your
outstanding
kids,
education.
Outstanding. जितने ज़्यादा बड़े बच्चे हैं उतना outstanding कम होता जाता है.
क्योंकि उतने आप दे चुके हो.
Right. And C is backup of household expense for your spouse.
Okay.
Now, if your spouse is completely independent, you may omit this one. But अगर आप as an individual, if you were, let's say, even handling 20%, 25% of the household expenses, and when I say household expenses, this is not just the groceries and the kitchen expenses. Household में बड़ा होता है. उसमें आपकी स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग के हिसाब से हो सकता है मेड्स हो सकता है ड्राइवर्स हो सकता है थोड़ा बहुत वीकेंड एक्सपेंस हो, बहुत सारी चीजें.
Your vacations, your...
See, vacations, I would say,
still can be eliminated.
Something that
about your lifestyle.
Yeah, the current lifestyle has to be maintained. उसके लिए अगर करना है, let's say ballpark, मेरा घर का खर्चा है 1.5 lakh rupees a month, including drivers and everything and maid and everything. This is no rents and all that. ये खर्चा बच्चों पे बहुत छोटा मोटा खर्चा होता है. So साल का 18 lakhs. अब मेरे को इस 18 lakhs का बैकअप मेरी वाइफ को कितने दिन देना है? Now I am for a moment thinking that मेरी वाइफ डिपेंडेंट है मुझ पे, तो मैं बोलता हूँ फ्रॉम माई डेथ इफ आई गिव अ 20-year kind of a backup should be good enough. तो 18 into 20, 3.6 crore, सिंपल मैथमेटिक्स. कुछ इन्फ्लेशन सब बाद में देखते हैं.
पहले बेसिक तो
करो. So when I club these three, which is my loans, my kids' outstanding education, and third is your backup for your wife or husband or whosoever it is, इन तीनों को क्लब करिए तो आपका परफेक्ट टर्म इंश्योरेंस कवर निकल आएगा. And this is, by the way, not one single policy. This is policies as per the term of these things. If my son is 12, I do not need to take a 20-year policy for his outstanding.
You need it for that.
So I'll need 4 to 5 policies to fulfill all of this. So I take one for my loan. I take one for मेरे दोनों बच्चों में 4 साल का गैप है, तो मैं फालतू में दोनों को मर्ज करके 20 साल की पॉलिसी नहीं लूंगा.
करेक्ट.
I'll
उतना
split it.
प्रीमियम क्यों भरोगे आप?
एक्सेस क्यों भरना है? एंड थर्ड इज हाउसहोल्ड एक्सपेंस वाला जो बैकअप है, इट डिपेंड्स ऑन योर एज. So if you're 30, you would want to give the backup for 35 years. If I'm 43, I would want to give, let's say, a backup of about 20 years. तो जितने साल का वो प्रॉब्लम है बस उसी को सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करो. एंड यू माइट नॉट एंड अप सॉल्विंग ऑल द प्रॉब्लम्स इन वन गो. तो ठीक है ना, स्टेप इट अप.
स्टेप बाय स्टेप
अगले साल खरीदो, फिर खरीदो, मंथली खरीदो.
करेक्ट.
बट अगर ये तुम तीनों चीजों को कवर नहीं कर रहे हो, then there was no point in getting married, no point in picking up loans.
And no
बच्चे
point
पैदा
in
नहीं
having
करने थे.
children.
A lot of people say that. तो मेरा आता है, मेरा जो HLV आता है इस हिसाब से, not the scientific HLV, 11.75 crores.
Got it.
And I pay about 2.2 lakh rupees as a premium because I've split these policies. And none of these policies are for 70 years, 75 years, 80 years. वो जब मामला खत्म हो, पॉलिसी खत्म. Because the premium that I'll save, I would rather invest into
it and
living too long, right?
Correct.
Either for my retirement or for my health insurance.
Yeah, of
कि
course.
अगर जिंदा रह गए तो फिर क्या
तो
होगा?
फिर क्या?
So a lot of people say that अरे आप 2.25 लाख रुपए भरते हो तो कुछ वापस तो आने नहीं वाला.
Yeah.
तो वापस तो ऐसी 50 चीजें नहीं आती.
Correct.
आप गाड़ी में सिग्नल पे खड़े रहते हो, आप
हाँ,
चालू
चालू
करते हो, एसी चालू रहता है. I smoke.
हाँ.
I keep giving people this example. A lot of people are like me who smoke. मैं 300 रुपए का एक पैकेट पीता हूँ, 9,000 रुपए होता है.
अरे दैट एग्जाम्पल वेर इतने बचा लेते तो फरारी होती तुम्हारे पास. किधर है तुम्हारी फरारी?
फरारी नहीं. So 96,000 rupees in a year is my smoke expense, which is also not coming back. And by the way, it's all
उल्टा reducing
मतलब
life possibly.
लगी रही है कुल मिला के. So there are so many logics around this. आप न्यूज़पेपर आता है आपके घर में? सच में पढ़ते हो?
कितना पढ़ते हैं?
नहीं पढ़ते. मेरे घर में 25 साल से जब से मैंने अर्निंग स्टार्ट की होगी और होश संभाला होगा, तब से न्यूज़पेपर आता है. वो 720 रुपीज पर मंथ का बिल है. 720 इंटू 12 मोटा मोटा 8-9 हज़ार रुपए, 7,000 रुपए होता है. फॉर अ करोड़ वर्थ ऑफ टर्म इंश्योरेंस दिस इज इनफ. मत लो न्यूज़पेपर, न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ लो. तो ऐसे बड़े सारे वेस्टफुल एक्सपेंसेस जो हम ऑलरेडी कर रहे हैं. करेक्ट. यू डोंट रियली नीड टू सी दैट इंश्योरेंस ही वेस्टफुल है.
आई एग्री.
So yeah, I think if someone was to calculate term insurance like this, he'll be bang on.
That's amazing. And that also answers my next question, which was going to be, somebody had asked us actually, कि एक term insurance policy लेनी चाहिए या multiple? So clearly multiple, and multiple is जितना चाहिए उतना ले सकते हो.
किसी से भी लो.
No problem.
किसी भी इंश्योरेंस कंपनी से लो. Don't spread too much. Because you also need to understand that तुम्हारी बीवी को तुम 4 ऑफिस 5 ऑफिस के चक्कर क्यों कटवाओगे?
Correct, because claims process will also be that much more tedious.
Actually, it's not tedious. It's relatively easy as long as कोई handhold करने वाला हो. It's just that don't spread it in like 5, 6, 7 companies. Keep it to 2, 3 companies. And these days it's very cost effective also. So you can just as your income steps up. एंड इनकम के साथ ही तो लाइबिलिटीज बढ़ना चालू होती है. आज से 10 साल पहले मैं नहीं सोचता था मैं मेरे बच्चे को इंटरनेशनल में पढ़ा पाऊंगा. अब मैं पढ़ा पाता हूँ. सो एज एंड व्हेन इट्स गोइंग अप, यू जस्ट कीप रैम्पिंग अप योर कवर. दैट्स इट.
And there is this like weird association that all the insurance companies are evil and they are waiting to deny your claim. कोई भी चांस मिले तो they're just waiting to deny your claim.
See, इंडिया बहुत ना एकदम क्रेजी सा देश है. This is the only country probably and some other Asian countries where insurance, 90% of insurance is sold by part-timers.
The agents, बीच वाले.
See, मैं भी एजेंट ही हूँ. अब मैं ब्रोकर अपने आप को बोल लूँ, it's just a flashy name. Finally, मैं भी एजेंट हूँ. But ये मेरी रोजी रोटी है. Correct. Right? This is my livelihood.
Yes.
ऐसे लोग जिनकी livelihood और कुछ है और वो साथ में इंश्योरेंस भी करते हैं.
So my couple of years ago I had a driver who was driving me around and also selling insurance on the side.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he's like, मैडम आपके पास इंश्योरेंस है, मैंने अभी ब्रोकर कोड लिया है, आप मेरे से भी ले लो.
Correct. So ऐसे लोग plus the so-called the amazing banks that we have.
Oh yeah.
That's about, so out of the 90%, 45% is banks, 45% is these so-called part-time agents. Why do I call banks part-timers? Their core job is to do banking, right? If you go to a staff of, let's say you walk into any bank, any private sector, good bank where, you know, they wear nice clothes and talk to you nicely. यू वॉक इन एंड ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड निटी-ग्रिटीज ऑफ द इंश्योरेंस. उसको ऊपर से फतवा आया है
कि
ये
बेचना
2
है।
पॉलिसी है, 2 बेचनी है. वो तुमको भी वही बेचेगा, मेरे को भी वही बेचेगा, इसको भी वही बेचेगा, सबको वही
Doesn't
बेचेगा.
matter कौन आया है सामने.
And second, if you go for any kind of service to the branch, they will definitely say आप इंश्योरेंस कंपनी के ऑफिस चले जाइए. So is it changing? Of course, bank insurance is becoming much better. But as we speak, 90% अगर तुम पार्ट टाइमर से खरीद रहे हो, तो be ready for all this trust issues and evil issues and all of
Yeah.
that. Problem is, at the source, if the decision of buying the policy itself is wrong, मुझे क्या खरीदना है अगर वही गलती हो गई मुझसे, तो फिर आगे जाके तुम हमेशा रोगे ना, तुम तो परेशान हो गई होगी.
Yeah.
तुमने किससे खरीदा? तुमने एक एजेंट से खरीदा जो पार्ट टाइमर था. उसको अभी एक बंदा आया मेरे पास में, वो बोलता है मेरे को मेरा कैशलेस क्लेम तो मिल गया, लेकिन कैशलेस क्लेम के बाद जब मैं घर आ गया उसके बाद मेरा 45,000 का और खर्चा हुआ जो मेरा पोस्ट हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन में मिलना था,
वो नहीं
वो
मिला.
डिले हो गया. तो मैंने बोला आपका एजेंट क्या कर रहा था? बोले मैंने वो थोड़ा मैं कोऑर्डिनेशन में इशू हो गया, ये हो गया. बस वी गेट 15% एनुअली commissions out of our health insurance policies that we sell. 15% हर साल
That's
हमें इसी
crazy.
चीज के लिए मिलता है, that we pick up that call when it is required.
Yeah. And you handhold them through the claims
Absolutely,
process.
absolutely. So if you're buying from the wrong person, that is the biggest issue. So अब वो पर्सन को कितना मैं चेंज करूं, वो तो बेचारा है ही पार्ट टाइमर, वो तो सोच रहा है मैं थोड़ा 10-20 हजार रुपए 50,000 रुपए कैसे एक्स्ट्रा कमा लूं.
Yeah.
एज अ बायर हमको भी, तुम्हारे घर में जब शॉर्ट सर्किट हुआ, आपने बोला इधर शॉर्ट हो, तो प्लम्बर को थोड़ा बुलाते हो.
Correct. Electrician को
You'll
बुलाएंगे.
call the specialist, right? आपका गाड़ी खराब होगा तो you'll take it to the service station. आप किसी बाजू में लड़के को नहीं बोलोगे ठीक करने के लिए.
Correct.
So try and take insurance decisions like that. I think the new generation is changing big time. Millennials, or let's say people beyond millennials, उनका तो बहुत बड़ा issue था. I think Gen Zs would be much better at this because so Gen Zs are looking at trust even beyond relationships, which means तुमको नॉलेज है, तो मैं तुम्हारा लैंडिंग पेज भर के आ जाऊंगा.
उसके बाद you still have to earn it.
एब्सोल्युटली. तुम उसके बाद मेरे को लॉजिक से समझाओ. मेरी जनरेशन ये देखती थी, अच्छा मैं तुम्हें जानता हूँ क्या, तो मैं तुम्हें ट्रस्ट करता हूँ, भले ही तुम्हारा सब्जेक्ट मैटर हिला हुआ है. इंश्योरेंस पर से मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. And I'm saying insurance, not just insurance, even mutual fund industry also.
Yeah, it was always about the relationship. कि मतलब किसी का चाचा है,
I know
like
you.
somebody's brother, sister,
Absolutely.
all of that.
I know you. I've taken a reference, and whether I know my job that well or not, that's a
Secondary.
वो ठीक है.
हाँ.
और आदमी भी यही देखता था कि चलो कल को कुछ हुआ तो गला पकड़ने के लिए एक आदमी है.
Correct.
बट जेंजीज डोंट थिंक उनको गला पकड़ने के लिए ट्विटर है. तो वो किधर भी पकड़ लेगा गला जाके, उसको आदमी की जरूरत नहीं है. सो आई थिंक दैट इज गोइंग टू चेंज बिग टाइम. बट आज जो आप जो पॉइंट रेज कर रहे थे, दैट व्हाट इज द ट्रस्ट एंड दिस इंटायर इशू अबाउट इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज फ्लीसिंग पीपल एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. मैं 10 साल इंश्योरेंस कंपनी साइड में रहा हूँ, फिर मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में रहा हूँ. आई हैव नेवर अटेंडेड अ बोर्ड मीटिंग ऑन एनी मीटिंग वेयर दे वर प्लानिंग चलो क्लेम कम देते हैं. ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ.
Yeah, that's just a perception people have, right?
I've handled murder claims, I've handled suicide claims.
Oh wow.
I've handled very early claims where the guy, after taking the policy, conged off in 1 month with a heart attack.
Ouch.
Everything was paid.
Yeah.
तो ऐसा कभी भी नहीं है कि
they're looking to find a reason.
Absolutely. Process lacunas हो सकते हैं. See, you go to a bank also. One will be a phenomenal at your service kind of a bank, and एक थोड़ा आराम से चल रहा है.
Chill.
तो हर जगह प्रोसेस लकुनाज होंगे, बट ऐसा नहीं है किसी का इंटेंट खराब है. तुमने सोर्स ही जब खराब पकड़ा है.
Correct. The decision was wrong, then everything else will also be.
Wrong policy, wrong person. If the person is a part timer, he doesn't understand. उसको क्लेम प्रोसेस नहीं समझता है बॉस.
उसको आई थिंक पॉलिसी भी पूरी नहीं
समझती है. अक्कड़ बक्कड़ बम्बे वो. So waiting periods नहीं समझते. कितना सारा. So if I were to give you a number, 25% of the claims in the country are denied because disclosure ही नहीं है. Total claims deny होते हैं roughly 10 to 12%. Health insurance की बात कर रहा हूँ. Out of that 10 to 12%, 25% of the claims are denied because waiting period पता ही नहीं था.
अच्छा, waiting period पता नहीं था. ऐसा नहीं है कि they had
एक तो non disclosure.
हाँ.
Client की गलती नहीं है non disclosure. If I have a problem and you ask me point blank straight forward saying, Abhishek Singh, do you have a problem? Please explain 1 2 3 4.
correct.
क्यों नहीं बोलूंगा मैं? एंड इफ यू टेल मी दैट अगर आप ये नहीं बताओगे तो आगे क्लेम में पंगा आएगा. आपने पूछा अभिषेक सब ठीक? मैं बोला हाँ जी सब ठीक. तो ठीक ही है. अभी तो थोड़ा सा माइनर कोलेस्ट्रॉल हो जाता है, बॉडी हाइट वेट तो आप देख ही रहे हो, बट सब ठीक ही है. अनलेस आई टेल यू दैट मुझे कोई न्यूरोलॉजिकल इशू हुआ था आज से 3 साल पहले और मेरा D3 B12 विटामिन लेवल कम रहता है, हाउ विल यू नॉट गोइंग टू राइट इट. कल को इसकी वजह से कोई प्रॉब्लम हुई, क्लेम डिनाई हो जाएगा. द वे द एडवाइजर आस्क्स द क्वेश्चन, उसको कितनी इंपॉर्टेंस देता है इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. मैं आज तक एक क्लाइंट एक से मिलाऊंगा शायद पूरी लाइफ में जिसने मन से नॉन डिस्क्लोजर किया, जान के नॉन डिस्क्लोजर किया. सो द 25% of the claims are because of non-disclosure. 25% because the guy doesn't understand the waiting period. उसको किडनी स्टोन हुआ, 1 साल बाद पॉलिसी में वो चला गया, मेरे को क्लेम दे दो, तो बोलेगा नहीं सर 2 साल का है. अब उसको कैसे बदल देगा यार? एज एन एडवाइजर मैंने समझाया ही नहीं कि वेटिंग पीरियड कितना होता है. अराउंड 15 to 20% of the claims get denied because इंश्योरेंस कंपनी ने क्वेरी रेज करी, उस क्वेरी का जवाब ही नहीं आया.
Oh, so like the query went to the client. It's supposed to go to the client.
So claim का प्रोसेस क्या होता है? आप क्लेम फाइल करते हो, क्लेम फाइल करने के बाद अप्रूवल स्टेज के पहले अगर एज एन इंश्योरेंस कंपनी आई हैव कपल ऑफ क्वेश्चंस, आई विल आस्क यू, यू आर द क्लाइंट, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू आस्क द हॉस्पिटल. को भी एक कॉपी जाती है. अभी हॉस्पिटल में भी जो लोग बैठे हुए हैं वहाँ टीपीए डेस्क पे, वो भी अमिताभ बच्चन होते हैं. एडवाइजर है नहीं पिक्चर में. यू ट्राई एंड डील विद द टीपीए गाइस. उनको दे हैव एब्सोल्युटली, दे आर नॉट बॉदर्ड कि तुम्हारे पिताजी को प्रॉब्लम है, माताजी को प्रॉब्लम है.
उनके सबके किसी ना किसी के पिताजी और माताजी को प्रॉब्लम होती है वहां पे.
सो द टीपीए गाय हैज गॉट इट, ही इज ऑन हिज स्पीड. जिस परिवार में प्रॉब्लम चल रही है उसको कहाँ ईमेल चेक करने का और ये करने का वो करने का यार. इसमें लूप में फंस गया, एडवाइजर था नहीं, बीच में गायब हो गया, क्वेरी का जवाब नहीं आया, इस वजह से क्लेम रिजेक्ट हो गया. टाइम आउट हो जाता है ना कि भाई क्वेरी का जवाब ही नहीं दे रहे हो आप, क्लेम रिजेक्ट. इट्स ऑल the source issue in the country should get sorted in some time. Insurance companies are working towards it to give more knowledge and more understanding, but it will take time.
Now, these online aggregators that are there, if you purchase policies through them, now they technically become your agent, right? So, or your advisor, or I mean, not really. I don't know if they.
They are your advisors.
They are your advisors. So when the claims process, so do they have a systematic way of solving your claims issue, or not so much? Some of them.
See, it's like Make My Trip, right? So you've got a large scale aggregator, like a Make My Trip. I don't want to name.
Yeah.
और Make My Trip में इंडिगो ने फ्लाइट कैंसिल कर दी, वो बेचारा क्या करेगा?
Correct.
आप समझ रहे हो?
फ्लाइट
डिले हो गई, वो क्या कर लेगा? You wanted to reschedule a flight, till date I believe going to Make My Trip and rescheduling उससे better हो जाता है directly airline को call करके. So a large scale marketplace, will they be able to give you the kind of service that you need? I have my own doubts around it because it's a sales engine, right? It's you've come to them, आपको एक चीज चाहिए, आपने उसको लाके दी. But there are new age marketplaces
that are doing this well,
that are not that large, but they have it's also a lot about intention. कि मेरा इंटेंट प्योर प्ले मार्केट प्लेस बन के रहने का है, मेरा इंटेंट है सर्विस देने का. है नए वाले जो आ रहे हैं, हम हैं, वी आर देयर कपल ऑफ देम स्टार्टअप्स लास्ट 2-3 years 4 years, super intent of serving the customer as well, and the biggest point is उसका सोर्स बहुत अच्छा है. वो जो सोर्स पे इंफॉर्मेशन देके पॉलिसी जिस तरह से बेच रहा है ना,
करेक्ट,
इफ यू
so that clarity is there with the client.
खरीदते टाइम ही क्लैरिटी, मुझे तो फिर आगे क्या प्रॉब्लम होने वाली. करेक्ट. So there are people working towards this for sure.
So source is key. Take away from this is source is key.
जिससे खरीद रहे हो
समझो उससे कि क्या खरीद रहे हो.
लोग बोलते हैं माथे पे लिख के थोड़ी ना बैठता है कि वो, अरे बस यू गूगल दैट गाय अप, नो, उसका लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल देख ले, उसको गूगल कर ले, उसकी दुकान चला जाना, बाहर बोर्ड लगाए क्या इन्वेस्टमेंट का, इंश्योरेंस का. अगर उसकी दुकान ही नहीं है
Correct.
तो, और उसका ऑफिस ही नहीं है, और उसके पास स्टाफ नहीं है जो ये काम पिछले 5-7-10 साल से कर रहा है, व्हाई वुड यू वांट टू डील विद इट? जस्ट बिकॉज योर मामा हैज जस्ट टेकन अ कोड इन Some insurance company doesn't mean that you will buy
He's
a
sitting
policy.
and doing IT work otherwise and just selling this on the side.
You will, when you meet up full time or not, you will understand.
You'll know.
Oh, 10 minute में पता चलता है he knows his subject.
That's true. That is very, very true.
Yeah.
I want to pivot the conversation a little bit on misconceptions. So, yes, because of these sources that we have in the market, there are a lot of misconceptions in the market about insurance. Now, क्या होता है ना कि whenever we are younger, insurance becomes a afterthought because we think कि YOLO, अभी तो कुछ नहीं हो रहा है हमें, अभी तो क्या ही. And even at this age, like for example, I'm in my early 30s. So my parents are just starting to have like
Issues.
frozen shoulder हो गया, physiotherapy हो गया, छोटा things. But that obviously brings it in, sort of brings it in the forefront कि इसके बारे में अभी सोचना है. And then I have like had this tough conversation with my parents कि अच्छा, you know, mother, अपना है पॉलिसी किधर है, अगर आप हॉस्पिटल में चले गए तो मुझे करना पड़ेगा ना, तो कहाँ रखा है, etc. तो there are a lot of misconceptions like चलो मेरे पेरेंट्स के पास पॉलिसी है ही नहीं, या फिर अभी ली है तो there is what is the free look period, या फिर there are LIC policies, उसके अगेंस्ट लोन ले सकते हैं या नहीं. There are lots of these things. What are the 3 misconceptions that you have come across the most in your vast years of experience?
So one of the misconceptions that people have, and I also had till about 30 years of my life, as in about 7 years of my corporate life, that corporate health insurance जो हमें company देती है,
अरे बहुत बढ़िया.
That is the most amazing thing. See, it used to be amazing because it was very cost effective for the companies, for the private sector employers at certain point in time. Parents का भी cover देते थे, हमारा भी cover देते थे, wife का भी cover, सबका देते थे.
Children, everybody was included.
And as they started experiencing claims, because इसमें क्या pre-existing कोई आपको मालूम होगा waiting period नहीं होता, तो लोग आते थे, खूब उन्होंने धड़ल्ले से पेरेंट्स का इलाज कराया. I know people who joined a certain company for the health insurance because the parents had a certain problem.
Damn.
Now because of all this, cost went up. So a lot of insurance companies now said that boss, पापा मम्मी का अगर देने का है ना तुमको, तो तुम पैसा दे दो. तुम पैसा दे दो, I will cover. Lot of companies have taken the stance that no papa mummy, sorry, only you and your immediate family. So one is the quality of this cover has gone down big time. It is going to be further more and more expensive because as of now India is a young country. In the next 10 years India is going to age, right? So the employees are also going to age. तो ज़्यादा claims आएगा. तो जितना ज़्यादा claim आएगा insurance company उतना ज़्यादा cost बढ़ाती रहेगी. Though the Indian private sector is doing really well and everything is there, but एक certain hit तक बंदा ले पाएगा.
And cost is cost.
It's expensive. तो धीरे धीरे cover कम करता जाएगा या quality खराब करता जाएगा. All said and done, now let's take an example. सब quality अच्छी है, सब कुछ अच्छा है. On an average, Indian companies provide a cover of about 3 to 5 lakhs. Yeah. This 3 to 5 lakh cover, if you have only this cover and you are, let's say, about 30 years of age, तो you are into big trouble. छोटी प्रॉब्लम्स जो इंडिया में है वो 1-8 लाख रुपए 1.5-2 लाख रुपए में सॉल्व हो जाती है. बट इफ यू गेट इनटू समथिंग व्हिच इज
बिट मोर,
लेट्स से सम हार्ट इशू और लेट्स से
an MRI or like
something to do with the brain, or let's say something to do with something that is happening again and again. कोई ऐसी चीज है जो बार बार रिकरिंग आ रही है, तो फिर then you are into a big issue. This is not going to suffice.
Solve it.
Second is, आजकल स्टार्टअप का टाइम है, right? I was 32 when I got into this. Till that point in time, I only had the corporate health insurance, and suddenly 32 I woke up, oh shit, मम्मी पापा किसी का कुछ कवर नहीं है.
Correct.
And then I started hunting. By that time, dad had picked up some bit of hypertension. तो जो पॉलिसी मिली वो उतनी अच्छी नहीं मिली जितनी पहले मिल सकती थी.
Correct.
And then suddenly I realized that okay, now for my entire family I will end up paying about 50,000-60,000 rupees of premium. तो वो भी भरा. वो थोड़ा और अर्ली स्टार्ट कर देते तो थोड़ा ज़्यादा बेटर कवर्स हो जाते, बेटर कवरेजेस हो जाते. सेकेंड इज इन बिटवीन जॉब्स दीज डेज आई डोंट थिंक सो पीपल आर हॉपिंग एंड ज्वाइनिंग इमीडिएटली. बीच में थोड़ा सा चिल होता है, थोड़ा घूम के आते हैं, मस्ती करते हैं, तब कुछ हुआ एंड यू आर नॉट कवर्ड. सो One is the quantum of cover is extremely insufficient. 20 लाख रुपए से आज की डेट में अगर किसी का कवर कम है तो बहुत ही खराब है. I say a ballpark cover should be as much as your annual income. So let's say that's a good cover to have because एक साल का बैकअप वाला थॉट कि जितना मैं एक साल में कमाता हूँ उतना मेरा कवर है. तो 10 लाख जो कमाता है उसका 10 लाख का कवर, 20 लाख का 20 लाख का कवर होना ही चाहिए. कॉर्पोरेट कवर्स पर से यू हैव टू रीलुक. आपको सोचना ही है. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, हाउ डू यू देन हैंडल दिस सिचुएशन? ऑप्शन 1 इज टू टेक अ इंडिविजुअल पॉलिसी इन योर नेम, नॉट अ टॉप अप. खुद की चीज होती है. तो खुद का 10 से 15 लाख रुपए का कवर कम से कम आप ले लो. एंड अगर अफोर्डेबिलिटी इज अ बिग चैलेंज एंड पैसा नहीं बन रहा है और नहीं कर पा रहे हो तो टॉप अप ले लो. तो वो जो लेट्स से कंपनी इज गिविंग यू 3 लाख रुपए कवर, वो 3 लाख को डिडक्टिबल बोलते हैं. पहला 3 लाख जेब से देगा, जिधर से भी देगा. द इंश्योरेंस कंपनी से तू पहला 3 लाख जेब से दे, चोरी करके ला, किधर से भी ला, तेरी पुरानी पॉलिसी से ला, उस 3 लाख के आगे का बिल मैं पे करूंगा. सो इफ अ गाय पिक्स अप लेट्स से अबाउट 50 लाख और 25 लाख 50 लाख काइंड ऑफ अ टॉप अप, 1500 1800 2000 रुपए का आता है. इट्स वेरी चीप. इट्स वेरी चीप. सो टॉप अप ले लो. और पहला ऑप्शन इज बेस लो, खुद की अपनी रिटेल बेस पॉलिसी. अगर वो नहीं ले सकते तो टॉप अप ले लो, बट टॉप अप तो लो, क्योंकि पहला 3 लाख तुम बेग बोरो स्टील करके कुछ कर पाओगे. इवन इफ यू आर लेट्स से आउट ऑफ अ जॉब,
20 लाख
बाकी तो कर ही नहीं पाओगे. सो लॉट ऑफ पीपल से दैट अभी हमको क्या होने वाला है, अभी हमको ऐसे किस्से हैं ना. समथिंग हैपेंड इन माय फैमिली. 44-year-old गाय, एब्सोल्युटली नो बैड हैबिट्स, एकदम परफेक्ट आदमी. वो वन फाइन डे वेट लॉस होने लगा. ए प्लास्टिक अनीमिया होता है. इट्स अ फॉर्म ऑफ अ ब्लड कैंसर. वो हो गया. उस बंदे को हो कैसे सकता है मैं सोच नहीं सकता. He used to work with ICICI Bank and a long-term employee with ICICI Bank for about 20 years. ICICI Bank said that Indian, international, whatever, we'll just take all the expense. The total expense was about 40 lakh rupees.
Wow.
तो वो तो किस्मत है कि ICICI Bank took this stance कि वो 40 लाख रुपए देने के लिए रेडी. अदरवाइज 40 लाख.
And even if ICICI Bank took that, it actually happened in 40 lakh rupees was also a big thing.
Yeah.
वो करोड़ में जा सकता है.
हाँ, वो तो किस्मत है that
he is fine
yes,
and
he responded well to the medicines. Otherwise तो बहुत पंगा है. Yeah. So you don't know what is going to happen. तो अगर एक 10 लाख रुपए की पॉलिसी का 17-18 हजार रुपए, मतलब 1500 रुपए महीना तुम नहीं डाल सकते इसके लिए.
तो खुद की जिंदगी की वैल्यू क्यों
क्या पढ़ाई की है, क्या नौकरी की है, क्या किया.
Very true. Yeah. Very true. Pivoting a little bit.
Yeah.
The conversations that usually used to happen in a family, maybe not in a family as much, but I know that like now my in-laws or my parents etc. My grandparents, उनकी बहुत सारी LIC policies थी जो अभी they're maturing now and suddenly they're like कि इतना पैसा आ रहा है अभी next year इतना, because वो थी कुछ 20-30-40 साल के लिए. Nowadays, these LIC policies or this life insurance that
endowment investment products, yes.
Those conversations are changing. Is it because those policies were actually that attractive back then? Because what I have heard, now I don't know this for sure because I've not done that much research on the policies that were there 20-30 years ago. But those policies used to give you that kind of return at that time. But nowadays they are not that attractive anymore. Is it true? Is
very big misconception. It is, by the way, the largest segment in the insurance industry till now. Which is investment. Insurance-led investment policies.
Where they combine your insurance and investment together.
I am a firm believer that at all stages in your life, you need some bit of money at a place wherein you're not thinking about it.
Got it.
आप complete zero thought है उसके बारे में. Unmanaged है वो. Managed, partly managed नहीं, unmanaged है. वो उधर डला है, चल रहा है. The kind of returns that you can expect right now from such policies is about 6.7%.
Okay.
Now 6.7, that too for a lock-in of 30 to 40 years.
Okay.
I do not see any
उससे
other.
अच्छा तो PPF है ना?
कैसे? 40 साल का लॉक इन.
40 साल नहीं, ये 15 साल का.
पैसा निकलने लगेगा.
अच्छा.
पैसा तो 12वें 13वें साल से ही आने लगेगा, but your returns of 6.7 are locked in for
Locked
40
in
years.
for
So
40
let me give
years.
you an example. My wife has invested 12 lakh rupees per year for 12 years. From the 14th year, she started this when she was 41. तो 41 से 12 साल 52 तक उसका प्रीमियम चलेगा. 54th ईयर से उसको हर साल 14.8 लाख आएगा. उसने डाला कितना? 12 लाख. 14.8 आना चालू हो गया. अगले 30 साल के लिए आएगा. 30 years. She'll turn 84 by then. End of the 84th year, उसने जो 12 लाख डाला 12 years 1.44 crores वो पूरा वापस आ जाएगा. इस ड्यूरेशन में अगर उसको कुछ होता है तो ये पूरा पैसा मुझे आएगा. मुझे और उसको कुछ होता है तो बच्चे को जाएगा. But this is 12 years of premium payment, 2 years of lock-in and 30. तो we're talking about 44 years. कौन सा डेट इंस्ट्रूमेंट आपको 6.7% का रिटर्न देता है
अभी तो
in a span of 44 years? There's nothing that you can lock in for such a long term. See, PPF, इस साल का पैसा जो डाला उसकी 15 साल की गारंटी है. अगले साल का रेट बताओ मुझे अभी. नहीं बता सकते. आज से 5 साल का नहीं. आप एफडी का रेट नहीं बता सकते. आप किसान विकास पत्र का रेट नहीं बता सकते. आप किसी भी डेट प्रोडक्ट का रेट नहीं बता सकते. इसका रेट वंस यू एंटर द प्लान इज फिक्स्ड.
करेक्ट. सो आपको सोचना नहीं पड़ता उसके बारे में.
सी, पूरे पोर्टफोलियो में से किसी का 10 करोड़ का पोर्टफोलियो है, 10 लाख रुपए डालता है वो इसमें साल का. 10 साल के लिए डालता है, 12 साल के लिए डालता है. 10 लाख निकाल के वो पोर्टफोलियो तो यू मेक बिलियंस आउट ऑफ दैट. आप डॉलर इन्वेस्टमेंट करो, खूब अरबपति बन जाओ. ये 10 लाख रुपए आपको 12 लाख रुपए देके जाएगा साल का. ये 1 लाख रुपए महीना है. यू आर रेस्ट अश्योर्ड दैट बॉस किचन एक्सपेंसेस आर टेकन केयर ऑफ, वेदर वी आर अरबपति, करबपति, करोड़पति or whatever.
Correct.
So that some bit of backup is required.
This is your riskless investment.
So
essentially,
ideally in someone's portfolio at all points in time, थोड़ा तो ऐसा होना चाहिए.
थोड़ा सा.
थोड़ा तो.
Yeah.
थोड़ा.
We are obviously not talking about the entire thing.
No.
हाँ.
If you are
कभी बढ़ेगा ही नहीं.
20% से ऊपर अगर आप जा रहे हो ऐसी चीजों में, तो आप फिर फंसने वाले हो.
Problem.
And it all depends on the age also.
Yeah.
But at let's say my age, your age, a 10% kind of an exposure overall is
enough.
perfect.
Yeah.
Because मैं मेरे बेटे की पढ़ाई को मोदी जी के री-इलेक्शन से कनेक्ट नहीं करना चाहता.
Correct.
एक certain amount, let's say if I were to spend about 3 crores for his education, तो एक 60-70 लाख तो कम से कम मेरे को ऐसा चाहिए ना बॉस,
जो मतलब इलेक्शन के डिसीजंस पे डिपेंडेंट नहीं है.
करेक्ट. मिलिट्री रूल भी आ जाए तो भी मिलेगा.
करेक्ट.
बट चक्कर क्या है विद इक्विटीज दैट यू हैव दीज साइकिल्स, राइट? तो मुझे अगर उस टाइम पे वो पैसा निकालना है और अगर लॉस पे निकालना पड़ा तो झटका लगेगा
100%
इक्विटी से. बट मैं ये कर सकता हूँ कि अगर मुझे 3 करोड़ चाहिए तो मैं 60-70 यहाँ से कर लूँ
और बाकी 2-40 तो बढ़ता रहेगा.
So ideally balancing is important.
Interesting.
If you are just a crazy fan of these endowment policies, then you're doing wrong. But एक छोटा part इसमें हमेशा रहना चाहिए.
Interesting.
And I personally believe long-term debt, you can't beat a life insurance policy. You can't beat a life insurance policy.
Very interesting. Because there is a school of thought that says don't mix insurance and investment.
वो influencers का दिया हुआ thought.
I'm just saying I've read about this school of thought. Now, if it is out there, we have to also justify it. Now, why is it so? And if it is not so, then why? Which is why I asked you about this.
It is definitely, if you're overdoing it, it is
definitely a problem.
But क्या ये गंदी पॉलिसीज हैं और क्या ये खराब पॉलिसी हैं? बस आज अगर तुम किसी को बोलो, किसी इकोनॉमिस्ट को बोलो जाके कि बॉस मैं आपको 6.5% दूंगा 40 साल के लिए, लॉक इन करके दूंगा और गारंटी दूंगा, लिख के दे रहा हूँ, वो बोलेगा साहब बिल्कुल बहुत अच्छी चीज दे रहे हो आप.
करेक्ट.
So I think there's a clear market for it.
Very interesting.
And yeah, so that's still the largest segment in the country.
It is, and I don't think it's going to go down anytime soon.
There's no social security.
Yeah, there is not.
मुझे बच्चे की पढ़ाई भी खुद ही करानी है, मुझे रिटायरमेंट भी खुद करना है,
पेरेंट्स का भी ख्याल रखना है,
तो उसमें
खुद का भी.
जहाँ पे भी फिक्स नेचर लाऊंगा वहाँ तो थोड़ा बहुत तो देखना पड़ेगा.
हाँ, और हमारे यहाँ पे तो सबसे ज्यादा इसमें रिस्क कितना है, मेरा पैसा डूबेगा क्या? That is the first question people ask.
Correct.
So that brings me to my favorite question. Where do you invest your money? How do you manage your money?
So I've been...
I'm assuming you manage it yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So I'm a very structured, process-driven person. जैसे अभी आपके यहाँ आना था, तो वो जब एड्रेस वड्रेस जब तक सब हाथ में
आया
नहीं
नहीं
होता ना
तब
तब तक तो वेरी अर्ली ऑन इन माय लाइफ आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग SIPs, mutual fund. I was 23, 24.
See guys, listen to this.
Uh,
This is ideal. Please, if you're 23, 24,
so
start.
I met a guy called as Vinay Singh.
Okay.
Amazing guy, super hardworking, uh, ex-banker who got into mutual funds. And he said, Abhishek, you have to
ये तो करना है, हाँ.
sing. So we
तो
bonded.
bonded.
बोलते हैं आप 2000 के SIP से स्टार्ट करो, आप
हाँ.
करो. Today is a very big mutual fund distributor in Navi Mumbai. So he said आप करो. He was so good that वो 2000 की भी SIP के लिए वो विनय भाई खुद आ जाते थे.
Oh wow.
तो that's how I began my journey, and then that time my wife was my girlfriend. तो मैंने उसको बोला तू भी डाल.
हाँ.
मैं डालेगा तो तू भी डाल.
तू भी डाल. अकेले अकेले थोड़ी.
And then gradually we just kept building it up. धीरे धीरे जितना so तब तो 20% रूल फॉलो नहीं करते थे. तब ये लगता था जितना है उतना कर देते हैं. As we speak, we follow a 20% rule.
Nice.
Both of us.
So 20% of your income goes into investing.
Yes. So since I am on a fixed salary from my organization, we don't take any profit share. तो मैं अपनी सैलरी का 20% डिप्लॉय करता हूँ. और मेरी वाइफ, बिकॉज शी इज अ बिजनेस वुमन, उसका हर मंथली जो P&L बनता है वो हर मंथ उसका 20% डिप्लॉय करती है.
So percentage is same.
So we've had a very simple system. All EMIs are on me.
Nice.
Okay. All guaranteed as well as guaranteed return investments are on me. जो guaranteed, because guaranteed investments में पैसे डालते रहोगे.
Require that guarantee of
need to keep
expense
putting in
also,
them.
yes.
So it's like an EMI only.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's like, she hates EMIs.
हाँ.
So she's
मुझे
the
नहीं
one
चाहिए.
हाँ मेरे को fix वाला मत बताओ. She is the one whose money is getting into equities.
You know, this sounds a little bit like me and my husband also.
Yeah, is
He's
it?
also on a salary. उनका fixed जो भी मतलब anything which is guaranteed goes through his. All my insurance policies goes through him. All the equity investments go through me.
So in my investments, let's say the overall investment in a month is about 1.8 lakhs, out of which 1.3 is into mutual fund SIPs, and about 50,000 is into guaranteed plans, the ones that I spoke about, and very clear, only for my kids' education.
Fair.
The 50,000 that I put in on a monthly basis, I'm going to get about दोनों बच्चों के लिए 68 lakhs मिलेगा from the time they turn 18 to 21.
Nice.
And I know that 68 is not enough, but वो मिलेगा.
वो तो मिलेगा और बाकी जो equity में जा रहा है वो तो बढ़ेगा.
And my wife's portfolio, 50% direct equities, 50% mutual funds, SIPs as well as lump sums, as and when the money comes in. And when I say direct equities, as of now, largely mid caps and small caps. I do some bit of, I have some bit of understanding on equity markets also. So I kind of manage that portfolio also. So that's how our entire overall investment is spread. So ballpark, you can say about 5 to 6% of our money is going into fixed return products, which are these insurance policies, and about 94-95%
is equities,
is into hardcore equities, either through the mutual fund route
or
the direct route. Yeah. Now I'm trying to pick up my direct route a little bit. So I have one house where I stay. That's with me. I've bought my another house for my parents. So that's 2 houses. No
other real estate?
No. So I have then farms. And I am building up some it's going to be like your Airbnb and stay concept in Karjat.
Oh my God, that's interesting.
So yeah, I mean, again, the thought there should be that unless the ROI is about 12-13%, there's absolutely no logic to do it. So the farms are not for कि हाँ जी मेरा farm है और वो सब.
मैं जाके खेती बाड़ी करूँगा एक दिन.
So I'm sure कभी मस्ती करेंगे. So the 2 farmlands wherein I'm building 3-bed sets with a pool and all of that. And Karjat is crazy, huh? मतलब रात का 40,000 रुपए ऐसे मिलता है. So the plan is to buy, let's say, in the next about 5 years, build up 3-4 such properties, so that in the next 8-10 years we can
will keep coming in.
It's a stable. You can't fail with Lonavala and Karjat in Bombay.
So इतने लोग रहते हैं उनको बाहर जाने. They need to go out of Bombay to breathe.
सबको जाना. You try. अभी आप कर्जत ट्राई करो वीकेंड पे,
मिलेगा ही नहीं,
मिलता नहीं है.
वेदर इतना अच्छा है, सबको जाना है.
So this is how I have kind of split my portfolio.
That's very interesting. You are officially the first person who's actually given us a very detailed view of what you're doing, because you're clear on what you're doing. Most of the people are like, हाँ है.
So my wife is a life coach.
Oh, really?
And someone approached her from the coaching fraternity saying कि I am a financial planner.
हाँ. I will do yours.
I will do yours.
हाँ.
And I said, yeah,
please
game for it.
हाँ.
तो वो बंदी आई और हमारे साथ बैठी, तो उसने पूछा क्या करते हो क्या करते हो क्या करते हो.
सुनने के बाद मैं क्या ही कोच करूं.
आप सब करते हो, छोड़ दो. Yeah, so
that's true. I would also say that. I'm like, क्या ही मतलब उस इसके ऊपर क्या ही.
Plus we've got good insurance covers. I've got a.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah, I've got a 1 crore health insurance between the four of us.
Four of you.
My parents about 10 lakhs each. My term insurance coverage of about 11.5 crores.
According to your.
Yeah, according to
your value.
My value. And my wife somehow is. वो बोलती है नहीं मैं ये सब नहीं लूंगी, मुझे सोचना ही नहीं है इसके बारे में. अच्छा. Of course, she has absolutely zero liabilities. I take care of the liabilities. She's got about 2 crores of term insurance coverage. Yeah, so that's how our insurance covers. I've got a critical illness policy of about 50 lakhs. I've got a personal accident policy of about 2 crores.
Yeah.
सब कुछ
मिला के.
होम इंश्योरेंस है मेरे पास. आपका ये घर है, आपने जब ये घर लिया होगा तो इसको अगर कुछ हो गया, करेक्ट, you will get the depreciated value of everything inside, including मेरा जो housing policy है, home policy है, I'll get the MRP of my house.
Oh wow.
So this is just small difference. बजाज अलियांस के पास एक पॉलिसी है, I can take this name because बजाज के पास ही है. Okay. वो बोलता है मैं वैल्यूएशन कराऊंगा. अच्छा. वो वैल्यूएशन कराता है, तो वैल्यूएशन मेरे कॉस्ट पे. हाँ. 5,000 रुपीज. हाँ, उसके बाद वो उस वैल्यू को सेट करके आपकी पॉलिसी बनाता है. लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल, व्हेन आई बॉट माय प्लेस इट वाज फॉर 4 crores. उस दिन उसने वो पॉलिसी बनाई, मैं रिन्यू कराता रहूंगा, एंड समथिंग वाज टू हैपन दैट पूरा स्ट्रक्चर समथिंग वेंट रॉन्ग, बिल्डिंग चटक गई, तिरछी हो गई, आग लग गई. वो मुझे आज से 3 साल बाद की जो मार्केट प्लेस रेट होगी मेरे घर की वो दे देगा. ओह वाओ. एंड द कॉस्ट इज अबाउट 30-40%. And this is only with Bajaj Allianz. As of now, that I know of is Bajaj. Phenomenal policy. And all my friends and everyone, I tell them that थोड़ा सा effort है, वो valuation का effort है. वो उतना करा लो, it will be amazing. Gotta check this out. Yeah. You should. I will. Yeah. Anyone who's got a, let's say, upwards of about 1.5-2 crores of a house, or I would say anyone. मतलब जिसके लिए 50 लाख का भी हो सकता है, घर बड़ा ही हो यार. हाँ, but like घर है तो you put your heart, soul, blood, sweat, tears, all of it into it. So such insurances I keep. Travel insurance. Oh yeah, that I take. But मैं श्रीलंका भी जाता हूँ ना अगर, तो भी मैं $5 लाख ही लेके जाता हूँ. So this concept was very new to my husband because he's never taken a travel insurance policy. He would before. वो ट्रैवल इंश्योरेंस जो ट्रैवल एजेंट चिपका के देता है ना $50,000 वाली. And when we started traveling together, I'm like, $1 million, $500,000. He's like, what is wrong? I said, it's 2,000 rupees. Yeah. I said, of course I'm going to take it. Absolutely. And then we were traveling to the States and we took my grandmother also. And she's about 83 years old. And he's like, नहीं यार इनकी तो पॉलिसी बनेगी नहीं. I said, कैसे नहीं बनेगी? सब बनेगी. Of course बनेगी, सबकी बनती है. प्रीमियम थोड़ा हाई होगा, बन जाएगी. So we actually found out for her and they did cover her. Touch wood, nothing happened to her. But travel insurance is something that not a lot of people get. But I think it's absolutely important. You're stepping out of the country now. You should get and as much as possible. My grandfather actually, when he was around, we'd gone to the States again and we were at the Grand Canyon and he was taking pictures. He was walking behind and he fell and he had a little sort of a small bleed over here, like near his head. Luckily it was not deep, but he had to be airlifted out of there because वहाँ से कहाँ जाएगा? Exactly. तो वो airlifting का cost and everything would have been on our head. And we were so lucky that we had travel insurance. We're like, आप airlift करो, न्यूयॉर्क लेके जाओ, no problem. It's not our cost. It's very simple. वहाँ पे अभी with a client of mine, daughter was traveling. डेंगू. Oh wow. डेंगू हुआ 5 दिन के लिए. $56,000. it's so expensive, and if you're
Yeah.
not covered, then
Yeah.
it's bad.
And especially because हमें आदत है, like I know because I've studied there also, but dental issues भी हम नहीं solve कराते यार वहाँ पे, because it's
It's too
ridiculously expensive. So yeah, travel insurance is a must. Okay, last question before I let you go.
Sure.
I want to ask you, because you are obviously very knowledgeable about all of this, and this is a question I like to ask everybody who has a family. Do you have conversations about money, managing it, insurance with your spouse, your children? Because it is something that is still, I think, not discussed that openly in general in every household in India.
So there are stereotypes. Um, in my generation, my wife comes from a Marwadi family,
Okay.
where मेरी मदर इन लॉ के नाम पे ITR तो बनता है,
हाँ.
लेकिन वो घर से बाहर स्टेप आउट नहीं करती.
Correct.
सिमिलरली मेरी वाइफ भी पढ़ी, MBA किया, सब कुछ किया, बट somehow financial decisions in their household also
It's taken
were
by
never
the
a
men.
part of her domain. Ab, as we speak, because she's making very good money, uh, she started thinking
About it.
a lot about it. She also keeps questioning me कि क्या
What
कर
have you
रहा
done?
है?
Where is my money?
ये क्यों खरीदा? तो
But that's the first step, right? At least
absolutely
being interested.
But till the time she was in her 9 to 5 and working in the insurance sector, not making as much money as she is now, she was very indifferent to it, to this entire concept. तब भी मैं एक बेसिक काम करता था. अच्छा, the good part was that the day she quit, this was 31st March of 2019, and she asked me how much money do I have, because she just quit.
Okay.
She had no plans. She said, I don't
नहीं
want to
करने
do
का.
this. ये काम नहीं करूंगी.
हाँ.
उसको लाइफ कोच बनना है, तब तक वो फाइनल भी नहीं था.
अच्छा. पता नहीं आगे क्या करना, बट ये नहीं करना.
बट वो जो विनय भाई ने 2-2 हजार की SIPs कराई थी,
Thank you, विनय भाई.
she had absolutely no access to that.
अच्छा.
Okay, तो उसको पता ही नहीं था.
हाँ.
वो statements मेरे पास आते थे. And I never touched that money. तो when she quit, she said, how much money do I have? I said, you've got 27 lakhs. वो छोटा छोटा छोटा. Oh, she was so happy saying, boss मेरे पास 27 लाख आया. तो she was never a part of the investment. It's like बच्चे का स्कूल, गाड़ी का कलर, घर का पर्दा, वो सब उसका है. But somehow she herself wanted to be away from this.
Yeah.
But from the time she started making some real money,
She's wanting
now
to
she's getting
involved.
into it. Insurance nahi. She
That is still a step further.
She hated it for the 15 years that she did it, right?
Yeah.
वो 15 साल उसने एकदम
It's
बिना
like
मन के,
traumatic.
हाँ, तो वो don't bring me there, don't take me there now. तो इंश्योरेंस में अभी भी नहीं, बट इन्वेस्टमेंट्स, yes, she's now at least asking me. मैंने एक चीज की थी, मेरा एक सबको करनी चाहिए. मेरे एक घर में एक लेदर बैग है ब्राउन कलर का, बहुत पुराना. उसमें बच्चों के बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट, डॉक्यूमेंट्स, माय ऑल इंश्योरेंस पेपर्स आर देयर. So there are these 2 insurance folders there. One is a health insurance folder and a life insurance. And every policy का एक मैंने समरी बना के उधर एक फर्स्ट पेज पे लगाया हुआ है
कि this is
वो
this,
अभी
this
नहीं
is
पढ़ेगी.
जब
If God forbid
something
was to happen, उस दिन जब वो पढ़ेगी तो उसको 1 मिनट में समझ आएगा इसमें क्या है, इसमें क्या है, इसमें क्या है. ये हर बंदे को करना
And
चाहिए.
this is very important, because honestly a lot of people take care and sort of plan for if anything were to happen to them, but वो documents है कहाँ और उसका access किधर है वो कोई नहीं बताता.
So many businessmen, because for people who are running businesses, ऑफिस घर ऑफिस फर्क नहीं होता है.
Correct.
वो लोग अपनी इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसीज ऑफिस में रखते हैं, और उनके ना रहने के बाद में access to that insurance policy becomes difficult. I've seen such cases. So the know-how of what covers do I have is a bare minimum that every husband or wife should do for each other.
100%.
ये जो आप पॉइंट बोल रहे हो ना, ये हमारी जनरेशन का है. आज की डेट में when I am talking to, let's say, a 27, 28-year-old, 29-year-old just married couple, both of them are equally involved. अगर दोनों earn कर, देखो earning बहुत important है. If a person is not earning, then it's a simple fact that अभी तुम क्या बैठोगे इस मीटिंग में, because how would you understand, because you're not making money in. But if they are earning, then I've seen lot of couples getting into calls with our team and me, saying that हम दोनों मिलके समझना चाहते हैं. So I think that's changing big time. if I were to tell you my follower stats, तो आपको बहुत एविडेंट हो जाएगा इंडिया में क्या चल रहा है इंश्योरेंस
Tell,
में.
tell.
77% male, 23% female.
Nice. That is still better than a lot of finance content creators because
Is
it's
it?
usually 90-10.
Could be because of my charm as well.
Yes, of course.
But I think because I talk about things that are very simple and they are not like
Overly complicated.
एक्सेल के jargons नहीं बताता हूँ, तो I think they would be able to relate to it.
Ours is 60-40. Okay, I'm very proud.
60?
60 male, 40 female.
Very nice. Excellent.
All the women out there, listen to us.
So I think there's huge scope
Yeah.
of someone who can run a financial planning for the husband and wife.
Yeah. Oh,
Together.
yeah, that's true.
That's
Because both of them equally involved,
Yeah.
equally sort of educating both.
दोनों एक साथ अगर सोचो बाय इफ दे 28 29 और वहीं से उनके फाइनेंशियल गोल्स अलाइन हो जाए.
Correct.
बिकॉज लॉट ऑफ टाइम सी फॉर माय वाइफ हाउस इट डजंट मैटर टू हर. वो बोलती है रेंट पे रख लेंगे, कुछ नहीं, उसको घर का पर्सपेक्टिव ही नहीं है.
हाँ.
फॉर मी टिल लाइक 5 years बैक कार्स वर एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट टिल अबाउट 5 years बैक.
हाँ.
मतलब गाड़ी तो फिर ऐसी ही और ऐसा ही चाहिए वैसा. अब नहीं हो गया, विद एज वी हैव मेलोड डाउन. तो all these are like large financial decisions in your life.
Huge.
Right? तो मेरी वाइफ का पर्सपेक्टिव अलग ही है घर को लेके. वो बोलती है तू रेंट
कहीं भी
पे
रह
रह,
ले.
किधर भी रह ले,
हाँ,
मेरे को
फर्क
कोई
नहीं पड़ता.
अच्छा घर होना चाहिए, भाड़े पे खरीदना,
Doesn't
attachment to a house and all of that
is
is
not
not there.
there.
So if two of us combine and sit together and make a plan and think that these are our priorities, ये जो जैसे मैंने आपको फार्म का बताया, तो फार्म was my thought because couple of my friends are doing it and they're making very good money out of it. So I told her that, और उसका पैसा लगा है बाय द वे, मेरा पैसा नहीं लगा.
तो guys, key to financial planning, किसी और का पैसा लगाओ.
बीवी का पैसा लगाओ. तो she said yeah this is a good idea. Now अगर मैं उसको शायद ऐसे मैं उससे बोलता तू पैसे दे दे, मैं कुछ कर रहा हूँ, मैं तेरे को बताता हूँ, तो it wouldn't have taken off.
Yeah.
मैं उसको पूरा लॉजिक बताया, पूरा बिजनेस प्लान बताया मैंने उसको.
Yeah, because if that person understands it, then obviously
Absolutely.
they're more inclined towards doing it.
So I think if two of, let's say, two earning individuals are married to each other and if they do it jointly, I think it's going to be phenomenal for them.
Love it.
A good retirement life और अच्छा रहेगा.
Nice. So I think we can keep going on and on to create one more podcast about insurance because there's just so much to talk about.
We've actually not covered like so many things.
This is not even the tip of the iceberg. It's the tip of the tip that we've covered.
एक
But-
चीज है room rent limit.
Room rent limit. Yes, I know what it is.
It's your dad.
Yeah,
New
that's
India
when I
वालों को
know.
तो मालूम ही होता है.
It's like ऐसा room लेंगे. नहीं, सब room नहीं ले सकते.
तो वो बहुत उस पे एक सेपरेट ही टॉपिक है. And that's the biggest problem that India is going to face in the next 10 years.
Which one?
Room rent limit.
The room rent limit.
New India, Oriental and National combined is 65% of Indian policies.
Yeah.
All of them have a room rent limit.
Yeah.
And all of them are a 5 lakh rupee cover policy.
Oh.
5 से ऊपर किसी ने लिया ही नहीं. तो suddenly when people start falling ill, बड़े सारे लोग एक साथ बीमार
साथ
पड़ेंगे
में,
इंडिया में 10-12 साल में. Because it will be an aging population,
Yeah.
right? That time they'll first time realize that 5,000 से ऊपर का रूम नहीं ले सकता. And अगर लिया
तो भरना पड़ेगा जेब से.
ना, रूम का
सब
रेंट नहीं भरना
कुछ.
पड़ेगा, सब कुछ पूरा पूरा प्रोरेटेड
Yeah, and
कटेगा.
it was so this is again once when something had happened, somebody was in the hospital and we upgraded her to VIP room or whatever. Suddenly doctor ka charge bhi but same doctor is coming, but the MRI is also more expensive, X-ray is also. I'm like, how is your X-ray more expensive just because I have taken a VIP room? Like, it's ridiculous. And then all of that doesn't get covered, right?
No. So it's if your room rent limit was 5,000
उसी के
and you
हिसाब से.
stayed 10,000 और क्लेम आया 5 लाख का, तो 2.5 लाख रुपए दोनों आपस में शेयर करो. It's going to be a big hit for people. And the problem is by the time they realize
वो
कि
हो
मुझे
चुका होगा ना.
हो चुका होगा और फिर मॉम एंड डैड को मूव आउट नहीं करो. ये सब मॉम एंड डैड के साथ ही होने वाला है.
Yeah,
ये
because
हमारे साथ नहीं होगा because we've understood this part.
yeah,
So उस टाइम फिर तुम मूव नहीं करा पाओगे एक बेटर पॉलिसी में.
yeah.
So I think this
Is
thing
gonna
has
be
to
a
be corrected big time everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn. Anyway, on that note, thank you so much for joining us today. It was an absolute blast. It was, I think, the most fruitful conversations we've had. including the financial planning that you do for your family, and obviously the insurance gyan that you are so good at giving.
Yeah.
And guys, please, you know what to do. We've done this many times, liking and sharing and subscribing. But please do that for OneInsure and Mr. Abhishek Singh as well. He creates phenomenal content across all platforms now. And I am sitting here with him today. But Niyati is on his podcast. So go watch that also after this, okay?
Sure.
Cool. Thank you so much. And we will get you again sometime because
Sure.
बहुत कुछ है बात
अभी
करने को.
बहुत बहुत सारी बातें करनी हैं आपसे. Thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.